Friendly, of course, beating Yokohama in our first as well. It's a good pre-season so far. A very happy, smiling Pep Guardiola greeting the Bayern Munich players on the pitch there. And you can see some of the players there, majority, with the exception of Kevin De Bruyne, everybody played today. Kevin De Bruyne and Scott Carson and Stefan Ortega, the only three players that didn't get on the pitch today. Lovely to see such a variety of our players, and of course Maximo Perrone getting on in the second half as well with a great 20-minute performance, I think, as well. João Cancelo there greeting some of his former teammates. So City have beaten Bayern Munich. Thank you for joining us again on Matchday Live. I have Steve, Howey, Sean Gota and Paul Dickov with me in the studio. Get your WhatsApp questions in, get your reactions coming in to us, as well as City win their second pre-season game so far. Sean, what did you make of the game as a whole?
Yeah, I think Andy sort of summed it up in terms of first half was really good. Some really good things and you know, looking at Rico Lewis making those driving runs, but also Stones driving forward, and that sort of combination, or those players in that area and how they read each other. That for me was a really interesting thing, and whether we see more of that this season was really good. Second half, I think players. I know it's fresh bunch of players coming on, but it's about players not really getting injured. City controlling a lot of the ball, a lot of the game, but it was really not as creative in the final third as we would have liked as spectators. But I think Pep will be pleased that for majority of it, we've kept the ball and controlled the game.
Never in my life have I wanted to know more what was being said in a conversation than Ruben Diaz, Leroy Sané and Kyle Walker all smiling and laughing to each other there. Oh, I'm desperate. Is there any lip readers out there that could tell me what was being said in that conversation?
I think Leroy's went over to Kyle and Ruben's just went in and bullied him away as if to say, leave him alone. He's staying with us at the minute.
Or maybe they've gone to Leroy to try and chat to him.
Yeah, I would take that.
Me too. That's what I was secretly hoping. Did you enjoy that second half?
Yeah, I did. It was just, look, it's a typical pre-season. Second half, a lot of changes. We've got to take into consideration it's very, very hot. They've been training hard. Game was played at quite a slow tempo, and actually the City, up until Bayern Munich scored, there was City were dominating. Not a lot of chances, but when Bayern Munich scored, it was as if City upped it again. You know, they didn't want to get beat. Haaland had a half chance from the free kick, Laporte had his header, and then we went and got the goal. So it was as if to say, hang on a minute, we want to win this game. But it's like everybody will say the same thing. It's minutes under the belt, minutes in the legs, and no injuries, hopefully. But if you win the game, it's even better.
And getting to see everybody as well, Steve. We get Maximum Perrone coming on in the second half. We get to see Oscar Bob, James McAtee again as well. I'm loving the fact that we're getting to see a real variety of the players.
Yeah, and I think the tours are out. You know, that's what they're designed for, really. The manager has to look at various things. He wants to rotate the team so everybody gets what they want. I'm pretty sure as well, the more senior players, they know what they need. So you look at maybe Kevin De Bruyne. Has he got a slight knock, or is he absolutely fine? Does he need that kind of run out today? Players with experience will be speaking to the fitness people and sports science people about what they want. But yeah, ultimately it's just about shouting it around. You know, as I said, you don't want injuries, but you just need to get your personal fitness in. So mine's going to be different from Goats. It's going to be different. Dickie's just going to run around all over the place because he was just like that. He was like a wasp. I didn't want to do that kind of running. Goats didn't do that. It's all about what you need, because you know what you're going to need for a match day. So hopefully everybody's getting everything out that they needed for tonight.
Yeah, the thing about pre-season as well, from the management side, is every player wants minutes, and you're looking at quality players, the players on the bench, they're jumping at the bit, they're winning minutes. The players that have played 45, they're probably winning 60 or more. I mean, Paul and I were just talking and we were saying this is a game where you're winning probably 60 or more. I think Bernardo played about 70, but everyone else is pretty much 45 or slightly less. And so from that point of view, I think what's happening behind the scenes in terms of not playing games at training that's where they're getting those extra minutes, whether it's in-house games, because you go into your first game, you want at least 70, 75 minutes to be able to go mentally, go for this game, because I can tell you the first games, they're tough mentally.
I think Steve hit the nail on the head. It's about getting right for the Burnley game in a couple of weeks' time. You know, they'll know the sports science behind it now. They'll know going into that Burnley game what minutes each player is going to be getting already, and what And as Shaun said there, each player's different. You know what Ruben Diaz might need is different from Erling Haaland, and they'll know that behind the scenes. So it's always good to win the games, but the ultimate thing is, even I know the Atletico Madrid and Arsenal game, Community Shield, don't want to win it. Ultimately, it's getting right for that first league game of the season. 2
weeks on Friday for that first league game. It's coming round thick and fast. We'll be showing you all of the goals in just a moment. But before then, we're going to get the opinions of our men pitchside in Tokyo. It's FG's joined by Shaun Wright-Phillips and Joleon Lescott.
Welcome back to the National Stadium, lads. Wake up, lads. Joleon, Shaun.
Has he finished speaking?
I'm not sure.
Shaun,
what's going on there?
Has he finished?
I had absolutely nothing to do with this. Welcome back to the National Stadium, Joleon Lescott and Shaun Wright-Phillips. 2 out of 2 in Japan. Joleon, what do you make of pre-season so far?
Yeah, obviously going well. We know with Nathan Aki come over to a serious note, so hopefully he's not too bad. But yeah, performances look good. Boys look in good spirits and in good rhythm.
It was a tight game first half. We have to talk about Kyle Walker because we were so impressed watching him. He gave them absolutely nothing, right, Shaun?
And the man then was scared of him, innit? I don't know what was going on, but they're just scared of him. Like, he's got that fear in a lot of players and a lot of attackers that come up to him that they won't even try to go past him. For me, for a winger, that's bad form. I think whether you go past him or not, you have to let him know he's in for a game. So for me, Walks, I take my hat off to you, my guy. You was fantastic again.
Do you think Shaun would get past Walker, Joleon?
Yeah. Nah, joking.
No, don't lie.
Shaun, obviously, Shaun would cause him problems, definitely, because like he's saying, he would be consistent and a constant threat. Like, I know it's pre-season, so you would probably expect more if it was more on the game, but there's times when you just recognise from the Bayern point of view, it's like, oh, we're not going to get that. So I'm not even going to try and get it, where Shaun would just be constantly trying to get him behind and just trying to cause problems. And even if it's not necessarily for him, it might be for a teammate that obviously gets more joy in the space that Walker leaves.
We caught up with Rico Lewis before the game, and he played in a midfield role. Shaun, how do you think he did?
I thought he was fantastic today, especially later on in that half. I thought he seemed to get forward a bit better. He was getting in behind them. He was causing them a lot of problems. And his first touch, and the way he takes his first touch away from the problems into the space areas to give the ball to the right people, I thought he was brilliant.
Last day in Japan, obviously a full stadium, 2 out of 2 here. What are you looking forward to and the rest of the tour?
Similar things, obviously great relationship with the fans, obviously just to give them entertainment, an entertaining game on the weekend. Obviously it'd be tough, probably more physical, knowing Atletico Madrid. So obviously, hopefully the ambition is to not just to win the games in the greatest respects, it's to come through unscathed and just preparing us for big occasions coming.
Joleon just mentioned it then. Last question before we head back. Are you expecting a few fireworks against Atletico in the next game?
Yeah, especially if Jack starts. They're after him. We saw that in the Champions League. They're coming for him. But he protects himself well. And I think we'll beat him, but it'll be a lot more physical, contested game.
Well, we will see you on the other side. It's been an absolute pleasure spending time with you guys in Japan, and we're heading off to Seoul soon, so we will see you on the other side. Let's head back to the studio. Send my love to the GOAT as always, and of course everybody else. And
remember, Shaun, we didn't know you were speaking. FG told us we can't hear
you. Lovely to speak to you guys, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much to FG. I don't know what they're saying about you, Shaun. What are they saying?
I don't know. All I see is his shoulders doing this.
He wouldn't say it to your face, though. It's all right being halfway around the other side of the world.
No, he won't. He won't say it to my knees, would he?
Shout out to FG, to SWP and to Joleon Lescott, pitchside there in Tokyo. And of course, they'll be travelling with the team over to Seoul for our next friendly against Atletico Madrid on Sunday. We will talk about that game very shortly. But we have a matter of a few goals to look through from today's game. So let's go back to the first goal that was scored in the first half again by James McAtee. Steve, will you talk us through this goal? What do you see with your eyes?
Well, obviously, you're looking at Rico Lewis, and of course, he's thinking there's an area there I can break into. He has done. He's getting a little bit fortunate, really, with just getting past the first defender. But what he does very well is he gets his heads up. He tries to pick out his teammate, who, I mean, really, he should finish it off. But McAtee is a goal scorer, what goal scorers do, and he's there just to pick up those little bits. But obviously, initially, from Rico Lewis, he's the one that breaks through. As I said, shows good strength there. It's unfortunate with the first one, but the second one makes absolutely no mistake. gets his body across him. He's basically sort of saying to the defender as well, I'm in front of you now. If you're going to make any sort of daft tackles, I'm going to go down and there's a penalty. So really the defender can't do a great deal about it. But he got the presence of mind just to sort of get his head up, pick out his teammate, and it's in the back of the net.
Academy graduate makes it, Academy graduate scores it to make it 1-0 to Manchester City. Now we're going to the second half when Bayern Munich equalised. Let's have another look at their goal now. Shaun, what do you make of this goal, please?
Well, yeah, I mean, Bayern Munich get down, they expose the left-hand side. As he sort of flashes across, defensively, we're in good positions. I actually thought initially it was a good save because it comes through, it comes slightly through bodies, and I think Alisson makes a save. And whether he could hold it or not, my initial thought was, because I always come through, he's gotten down to it and done well. Some may say he probably could hold it. I thought it was an initial good save, but then it's just the follow-up there. Our defender just alongside him maybe could react. Gomez could react a little quicker to sort his feet out and get a clearance, And I think he's thinking, well, Alisson's going to jump back on it. And in that fraction of a second, what strikers are thinking, oh, that's me all day. You just run in to tap it. So I think that would be the disappointing thing, that perhaps Gomez probably could have just sorted his feet quicker, shifted his feet to then clear it, as opposed to hope that Addison's going to dive back on it.
So Bayern Munich made that 1-1 with the goal from the 18-year-old Tell there. City then, as Paul Dickov said earlier, stepped up a gear and made it 2-1 shortly after with a goal from Aymeric Laporte. An unusual goal scorer, but very happy to see it, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. Great corner, though. Phil Foden's done really, really well. The ball's came out to Bruyne, who's a great way to pass, great vision, great movement from Phil here as well. He just doesn't wait for it there. Benji's run in. Great little ball. Have the shot saved, and then great little flick back by Phil. Instinctive and finish from Laporte. And, whether that's been a corner they've worked on or whether they've just used their intuition for it or not, it's a very, very clever goal, and it just shows you the quality we've got. Peroni, I thought the 20 minutes he was on the pitch was really good, always wanted the ball, very safe with it, but shows that he's got a pass in him that can split the line as well. And pleased for Aymeric Laporte. Last season didn't always play, didn't always start, but just got on with it. There was no moaning, there was no nothing else, and you can tell that he wants to try and prove a point here pre-season, like all the players do.
That corner kick is really clever. I think it's something that's worked on, because the player that comes and gets involved in the play, when that ball's passed, the player, because it's close enough, he has to go and press that, and that's when it's a little darting running behind, and therefore he then gets his eyes up to sort of. Foden has the shot, he comes back, and then he sort of flicks it back to Laporte, who finishes it. But I think that is certainly something that's worked on, and also the distance where he is, because it makes that defender leave from where he is to go press that, and that's when it creates the space for him to run in behind. So it's a really clever
I think
loose set piece.
With that corner, I agree with you. I think that's something that they've worked on. I'd be surprised if it's not. But by some miracle, if it's not, that's a corner that's going to cause problems all season.
But that makes it even more impressive, because it's 3 of the substitutes that came in the pitch.
Yeah.
So if they have worked in it, it just shows you that the ones that aren't starting are still taking note of what they're doing from set pieces.
Absolutely. Who do you think was your man of the match today?
I think you've got to say Rico Lewis over the course of it. He's not just his assist for the goal, but his constant energy, the quality in the ball, taking the ball in tight areas at the time, keeping the ball. He had a few blocks at the end of the first half as well, blocking shots. So, yeah, and considering that's one of the few times he's actually started in midfield, I thought he was outstanding.
The sponsors, the people in the stadium, chose Bernardo Silva as the man of the match today. And as we saw on Sunday with Erling Haaland, he's presented with this massive cheque. I love it. It's nearly bigger than him. We could barely see his head, bless him, Bernardo Silva there. Would you agree with that, or would you go with Rico Lewis like Paul said, Shaun?
Rico Lewis is one that stood out, but I'll throw in another one. Stones, I think, was brilliant. And the reason I say that, as a centre half, him stepping in, sometimes making that same run as Rico, sometimes being in wide positions, but also being a brilliant defender. He's just somebody I thought also played well, but Rico stood out for me. I'd agree with Paul with Rico.
Steve?
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, I can understand why the Bernardo Silva. He's obviously played 60, 70 minutes. We spoke when we were watching the game, an absolute nightmare for defenders. You couldn't really, you've just got no time to settle with him because he's just that kind of player. But for Rico Lewis, for me, he's obviously had a taste of it last season, and he's obviously thought of himself in his private time, I want more of this. And that performance is basically proven to us four that's here and everybody else in the studio, he could be an integral part next season.
I don't know about Rico Lewis, but in my private time, Steve, I think about us lifting trophies. It's been 2 days since we last did the list. We last lifted a trophy. 2 days too long for me as well. Here is Rodri lifting his 5th trophy in the last 2 months. Yes, yes. Is it a trophy? No, it's a plate again, isn't it? It's another gold plate. Looks absolutely lovely, yes. Lift a trophy every 3 days, that'll be all right with me. I hope there's another trophy on Sunday, because on Sunday is our next pre-season friendly. We'll be taking on Atletico Madrid in Seoul. Now, FG, Shaun and Joleon touched on it a bit there. Of course, the last time we played Atletico Madrid was in the Champions League 2 years ago. Got a little bit feisty, a little bit tasty, if you remember. There was some fun lip reading done by us all after the game. I imagine you'd have loved to have played in that game, Paul Dickov.
Oh, I loved watching it. Talking about favourite Jack Grealish moments, that's got to be up there. Stefan Savic, wasn't it?
It was.
But no, look, you know what Atletico Madrid are like. They know possibly quality-wise they're not as good. Simeone gets under people's skin and he gets his players doing that as well to try and upset the rhythm that we've got. And I'm sure it'll be quite spicy on Sunday.
So Atletico Madrid have their first pre-season friendly of the year tomorrow. So they haven't played any yet. They're playing a K-League 11, an all-star team tomorrow before they then take on us on Sunday. It is a friendly. It's their second. It's our third, Steve. But considering the last time we played them, that's what happened. Do you think it will be played in a friendly manner?
No. I don't think so. I think there's stuff on people's minds from both sets of players that, you don't forget. We know what Diego Simeone's like. He comes across as, he could be a lovely person, but on the pitch, he wasn't very nice. Off the pitch, you can see him as a manager. He's quite aggressive. As Dicky said, which is absolutely spot on. He gets every one of his players that just want to fight everybody because they haven't got the quality that Man City's got. And obviously the battle with Grealish as well, all that kind of thing. I'm pretty sure there'll be some odd little tasty moments in that game, without a doubt.
It's a good pre-season friendly then, I think. As long as everybody comes out okay, Shaun, considering it's going to be our last pre-season friendly before the Community Shield, feels like a good competitive one for us.
Yes, I think it'll be another good competitive game. Diego Simeone, his team's reflecting him and they have a tenacity about them. And as everyone said, the whole saga or situation with Jack Grealish, them wanting to kick him, seemed like every player wanted to get under Jack's skin, but Jack was so clever in being able to get the fouls. I'm actually intrigued on whether Pep plays him as well. But again, I think it's going to be a really good one because again, the Italians, they have that about them where they want to make the game really tough and difficult.
We can see the players there signing some more shirts. Loving seeing them out and about signing shirts for the fans over in Tokyo. What an incredible experience those fans must have. And gracious of the players to be there. Again, it could be there all night, I reckon. Shout out to the little girl as well that got a selfie taken with Kevin De Bruyne before the last game. I've seen that on our social media as well. An absolutely lovely, beautiful moment there as well. In terms of Atletico Madrid, João Felix, again being linked with every club going. I think Manchester United, the most recent one to be linked with him. In terms of the game on Sunday, Paul, from them, so we're expecting a competitive game, expecting a game more physical than we've seen in the last 2 pre-season friendlies.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Man City want to step it up as well from a physical point of view and from a footballing point of view to get it into the rhythm. I think it's a good game for City. Because you're going to come up against teams a lot next season like Atletico Madrid who are going to sit in there, they're going to try and be aggressive, they're going to try and hit you in the break, and we know that's what Diego Simeone's teams do, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Me too. I'm actually getting on holiday. I'm going on holiday tomorrow, so I'm going to be watching it on my sun lounger.
Oh yeah, poor you.
Right,
right,
yeah. The absolute best. I'm going to have City Plus on my iPad watching it because that's the only place to get our pre-season friendlies. In terms of the teams, we've seen both halves in both the games, 2 completely different teams, Shaun. With this being perhaps a slightly more competitive friendly and the last friendly we have before the Community Shield, are you expecting 2 different teams again, or will we start to see a more settled 11?
Very good question. I I think it's still about balancing the players and rotation. I think players will probably be close to 60 minutes because it's still a week before. I imagine players will get around 60 minutes, and it's about coming through like this game, coming through without injuries. Hopefully, Aki's is all a precaution with Aki. But yeah, it's just about making sure we can get through. Again, the culture we've built is about winning. These players will find a way, just like they did today, like when the game's late and they need to go up another gear, score those goals. So I imagine we'll win the game, but I think it's a case of getting through the game without any injuries.
Who are you most looking forward to seeing, given what you've seen in the last 2 games?
Players-wise?
Yeah.
I like watching the football. I just like watching the players. As I said, I was really impressed with Rico Lewis today. Just regarding the next 2 games, when you've got Atletico and Arsenal coming up, I think lads might play on against Atletico. Like you would sort of say the main kind of squad. I think some of them will play 60 minutes. The ones that don't, they might play 60 minutes against Arsenal, just so he's kind of got everybody roughly around the same come first game of the season. But I mean, all the players, as I said, very impressed with Kovacic. I said, looks comfortable, looks settled, looks as though he's been there for a number of seasons, really. So, yeah, I mean, obviously everybody talks about, is they going to get, like, the squad getting strengthened and stuff. It doesn't really need strengthening. You looked at the second half and the team that they played against Bayern Munich, and it was just dominating them, which is scary, really, but that's just how good and how much quality City have.
Yes, so Rico Lewis standing out there, James McAtee standing out, of course, both products of our academy. City Studios have just released a new documentary. It's called 3 in 3, and it's all about our academy and the incredible achievement that they have had this season, winning 3 PL2s in a row. You can also get that on City Plus and Recast, of course. If you signed up today to watch the game, you're going to get your money's worth, because get yourself 3 in 3 now. Watch that between now and Sunday.
So we must make the most of when we're here for as long as we can. We are an amazing team, yeah? We're a brilliant team, the best I've been involved with. This is competitive men's football.
I'm excited. I'm nervous. Every derby, you're involved in that.
Is that one on camera? I hope miracles do happen.
What's really important now is that we don't rest.
Really well-worked goal for the Blues.
This style of play is amazing.
In an instant, City can just find a moment, find a break.
We're so aggressive in what we play, so brave in how we dominate the ball.
So that's 3 in 3. That is available on City Plus and Recast. Of course, James McAtee, Rico Lewis, Oscar Bob, all having a great impact on this pre-season tour. All come through our academy. That'll be a fascinating watch. So City have beaten Bayern Munich today 2-1 in our second pre-season friendly in Tokyo. We now head to Seoul for our next game against Atletico Madrid. First up on Saturday, we will have our pitchside live show. Kel Spellman will be back with you presenting that as we give you the build-up to the players and Pep's press conference. He'll be joined by David Mooney, and Big Steve is back again. So you'll get that on Saturday. You'll also get to see some of the training live. And then on Sunday, of course, it is Atletico Madrid. Matchday Live will be back with you about an hour and 5 minutes before kickoff. Kel will be here alongside our captain, Steph Horton, Nadem Anua and David James. What a lineup. Very much looking forward to watching that. Now, out live in Tokyo, we have today's opening goal scorer, James McAtee.
James, only one place to start. Senior goal for City. How did it feel to score out there?
Yeah, it's good to get my first. I didn't affect the game as much, but I was happy to get a goal, so yeah, happy days.
Talk to me about the humidity out there. Those conditions are tough, aren't they?
Yeah, I was struggling. I think I looked up about 20 minutes and I thought I played like 40, but it was lucky we got a water break, yeah, so it was a tough game.
In many ways, though, is that sometimes almost better that we're playing in conditions like that, because the idea here is to get fitter, and that's going to help, isn't it, playing out there?
Yeah, I think you said it. It's try and get fitter, and playing that heat is only going to help, so...
How are you finding being with the lads out here? What's the training been like? And you must be loving it.
Yeah, it's good to be back with the lads. I obviously was away last year, but I've been able to come on pre-season and get familiar with the lads again and familiar with how we play.
Saw Rico Lewis playing in a more advanced midfield role tonight, and he did amazingly well. I mean, what did you make of his performance?
Yeah, he was so good. I said to him before, I was like, "Oh, you're playing higher up today?" He was like, "Yeah, I've played there before," so he wasn't too fussed, and you could see that out there as well.
He seems to be able to play in almost any position. It never seems to faze him, does it?
Yeah, I think even when he was younger, he used to play in all them kind of positions, so yeah, I don't think it bothers him at all.
So that's our final game here in Japan. How have you enjoyed the experience of being in Tokyo?
Yeah, it's a beautiful little city. We got to go out the other day, and me, Rico and Cole and Oscar as well, we got to explore the city, and yeah, it's a beautiful place.
And now we're off to South Korea, presumably your first time there. Are you excited about that?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not looking forward to the plane journey though. I've had enough of them, so yeah, but hopefully we have a good game against Atletico and try and put a good performance for the fans.
Well played, thank you.
Thank you.
That was the thoughts of James McAtee, who of course got the opening goal in today's game. Pictures there of Kevin De Bruyne and Nathan Ake. I'm so happy to see Nathan Ake just walking around there. Of course, he came off in the first half, which we hope was just very much a precaution. Kevin De Bruyne, I wonder if we will get to see him on Sunday. He was back in training yesterday. I very much hope that we might get to see Kevin De Bruyne. Really hoping that he'll be back fit, at least for the Community Shield, Paul.
Yeah, and I spoke to Kevin after the Champions League final, and obviously had his injury, and he knew he was going to be out for quite a length of time, but not that he was hoping to be injured or wanting to be injured, but he was saying this is his first summer off in about 10-12 years, and he was actually looking forward to having that break, because he's not had that before, and I'm sure when he comes back, whether it be on Sunday, whether it be against Arsenal or the Burnley game, he's going to be a lot fresher than all the other players, because he's had time to sit down and rest, and he was saying not just physically but mentally he was able to switch off, because previous seasons he's not been able to do that, and you look at the quality he produces in the seasons when he's not been able to switch off. Hopefully next season he's going to go up to, if it's possible, go up to another level again.
Yeah, absolutely. When you think about the amount of games that man has played over the last few years, in putting his international games and World Cups and Nations Leagues on it, then absolutely. So the players are still pitchside in Tokyo, signing and taking selfies. It honestly feels like they could be there all night. Incredible fans out there in Japan. Thank you so much for joining us on Matchday Live today. Again, it has been a pleasure. Steve, thank you to Sean and to Paul, and thank you all for watching us. Manchester City have beaten Bayern Munich 2-1 in our second pre-season friendly. Of course, Paul and I have been sporting the new third kit. Paul has the shirt, I have the training stuff, and this absolutely lovely jacket that will not be coming off me for a long time now. Loving the new third kit. The team, of course, played in it today as well. The third kit was released this week with some beautiful, colourful images from Tokyo. We'll see you on Saturday as the team head to Seoul.
Phil, 2 pre-season matches, 2 wins. How do you feel after that one?
Tired. Now, obviously, today against Bayern, such a quality team. We know they're good on transition. They can hurt you in behind, and I thought today we dealt with that really well. We controlled the game, and the manager touched on at half-time, don't give the ball away cheaply because they can hurt you on the counter. So I felt we did that really good and played a good game.
Yeah, I thought we kept the ball really well for quite long periods there, particularly impressed with Kovacic. What have you made of him since he's arrived?
Yeah, it's come straight into the team. He looks at home, he's fitted in really well, and he's a person that can bring a lot of quality to the team. He's aggressive in the challenges, and he's good at getting out of pressure in tight situations, and I feel like him coming in the team can help us a lot, so yeah, I'm excited to play with him.
What do you think of the general fitness level of the squad at the moment? Do you think it's where it should be at this point in pre-season?
Yeah, I feel like it's getting there. I think the first game the lads was a bit tired, but going into today's game was a little bit better, so hopefully the third game we feel back at it and getting ready for the season.
I was very impressed with Rico Lewis tonight, playing in an advanced position. Yeah. What did you make of his performance?
Yeah, I thought it was unbelievable. I actually said to him at the end, I thought he was my man of the match, to be fair. I thought he didn't do anything wrong in the first half. I think it's one of the best games I've seen him play, so yeah, I'm happy for him because he's come from the academy like me, and he brings so much to the team. He's got a lot of quality, and he's proved that today that he can play in this team, so yeah.
Another academy player scored a goal, James McAtee. I mean, you must love it when you see the young lads who have come through with you, doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's always nice to see him doing well. Trying to help him the best I can because I've been there before. So, yeah, I'm happy for Maka, I'm happy for Rico, Cole, and Oscar as well. All of them, they're doing well, and like I said, they're showing the quality that you don't just get here without showing your quality, so they deserve it.
What have you made of Japan as well? Because the reception we've had has been amazing. The fans have been so excited for us to be here. It's been a great week, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. I think everyone's really nice over here. They're dead polite and loving, and yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's been really good.
And now it's time. We've got one more pre-season game in South Korea against Atletico Madrid. You're looking forward to that one?
Yeah, looking forward to it.